Right, I want to welcome everyone to episode 11 of Figuring Out Fatherhood. Today I'm here with Chike.
What's going on, man?
You're right. Tell us a little about yourself, please, Chike.
Name's Chike. I'm 29 years of age, and I work within like the creative scene, I would say. So I do a lot of like editing, film stuff, and graphic design and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I enjoy life, and yeah, a little bit about myself.
Alright, let's get right into it. So, you have a child?
Yes,
Of course, that's why you're here.
Yeah.
How old's your child?
He is 1. He's going to be 2 in March.
Do you mention his name with us, or was it?
Azar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the main reason why I want to talk to you was because I'm well aware that you and your son's mum are from two very different cultural backgrounds.
Yeah.
So, where are you from?
So my mum's Jamaican, my dad's Nigerian,
Okay.
and she's Ghanaian. Why do I even? She's Ghanaian, yeah. She's Ghanaian.
Okay, and which part of your culture do you identify more with, the Jamaican and Nigerian side?
I would say Jamaican side.
Okay.
I kind of got into my Nigerian side a little bit later in life as I started getting closer with my cousins. But when I was younger, due to that relationship with my dad, yeah, I was a little bit more to my Jamaican side.
Okay, so tell us when it comes to culture as well, do you speak your language?
So I don't speak it both.
Okay.
I don't speak it both. But
Does Whitney speak?
yeah, so she speaks
I
Twi.
said her name. Is that right? So we say her name.
Yeah, it should be fine. Yeah, everyone knows. So,
Okay.
yeah, it should be fine.
Alright, so then let's run it back again.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
of course.
and does Whitney speak her native language?
Yeah, she speaks Twi. She can understand it and she can speak it. Yeah.
Okay, and when it comes to your son, are you fussed about? Actually, first of all, tell us about the differences between your culture, what you believe in, and her culture. Like,
Okay, so I would say for myself, as much as I know, like a lot of Nigerian cultures are very much have their traditions and they're very set in their ways and how they go about stuff. I guess because I'm more closer to my Jamaican side, I understand tradition, but I don't necessarily follow them as much as other people do. But because I understand tradition, she's very much involved in her culture, and so there's that compromise where we can understand how different cultures vary and what we want the best and how we move forward for our son, because at the end of the day we have to do what's best for our son, and I think that's the main ideas that we kind of think, all right, cool, what's the best thing for our son, how are we going to do this, does this make sense, and let's just go forward with it. Because I guess at the end of the day we're still figuring stuff out.
of course.
And because we're still figuring stuff out, we don't know what's best and we don't know what's right, and we also need to be appreciative of where each other's have come from as well. So the best way is always compromise, and then as our child gets older, they'll understand as much culture as they can, and then from there they can move forward with what they do in their life.
Okay, so what steps are you taking to instill culture into your child? I'm sure you're both doing
So
different things.
Yeah. So with her and her mum, they speak their language around him, and they very much, they call him by his Ghanaian name.
Okay.
And they kind of install that kind of like just let him know that he's from Ghana as well. He's from London as well. He's from Jamaica. He's from Nigeria. And I think for me, as much as I'm still trying to learn my culture, I'm trying to just do the best that I can to just install it in him. Like, I wish I learned Igbo so I can teach him the language. But other than that, I just do the best to just let him know, you're Nigerian as well, you're Ghanaian and you're Jamaican. So I just do little stuff that I can. I guess he's still young now.
Yeah.
So he's not going to really understand it all, but just do little stuff that when he gets older, he's like, okay, this happens. Oh, this happens. Oh, this is the norm for us.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come as a culture shock, because he's going to have to deal with a lot of different cultures around him, a lot of people telling him, this is how you do things, this is how you do things. And he needs to, I think for him, he needs to understand cultures are always going to be different and traditions are always going to be different, but at the end of the day, you are who you are. and your traditions and how you're gonna like be yourself and just be unique in yourself is always gonna play a big part in your life moving forward. And this is a lot of stuff for him. For him, only gonna be too soon.
Yeah.
But you know, this is stuff that I think in my head, and these are conversations that I have with my partner as well.
Taking a step back, you said they speak. Is it Twi?
Yeah, true.
Twi when they speak. So when they're speaking it around you, how do you feel? Do you feel any kind of way, or you just you're indifferent towards it?
I don't feel any kind of way.
Okay.
I do try and pick up things here and there for myself, just to know if they're cussing me.
Yeah.
But I don't feel a way because at the end of the day, that's their language, and if I did feel uncomfortable, I'll let them know.
Okay.
But at the same time, they don't make me feel uncomfortable. And yeah, I just think it's easy. I can understand why sometimes you can feel out of place when everyone's speaking their language and you don't understand what's going on. But at the end of the day, that is going to be their culture, and they're going to respect me enough to talk to me, and when they're around me as much as they can, like speak so I can hear. But that I can't tell them to not do that which is their culture, which is their mother tongue.
Yeah.
And I can't restrict them from doing it just because I don't feel uncomfortable. I gotta make an understanding. Like I said, if I did feel uncomfortable, I'll definitely say it, because at the end of the day, everyone's different.
Yeah.
But for me, I wouldn't feel uncomfortable. I don't feel uncomfortable.
No, I love to hear it, man, because you hear a lot of these things where it's like sometimes people are speaking a different language in front of you and they're dissing them, but they don't realise.
Yeah, of course.
But sometimes it's like they feel unwelcome. It's just like, how am I in your house? And you're not even trying to make me feel like I belong here.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I love to hear it, man.
Yeah, no, I think, and that happened. And I think that's always going to happen. And at the end of the day, you can't really stray from it.
Yeah.
But what you can do is say, I'm uncomfortable, or I don't like that.
Yeah.
Do it somewhere else, or do it in your own space. Don't do it around me. But for me, because I know how much their mother tongue means to them, whether they're cussing me or not, look, I still have to live my life.
Yeah, of course.
And I just need to go about a way where even if they are cussing me, or I just go about a way where they shouldn't be cussing me, or just live my life in a way where they shouldn't be having to say ridiculous stuff around me or anything, because you know what, I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah.
I'm doing amazing, and fortunately enough, they appreciate me for that. So I wouldn't hope that they would be cussing me, but it's fine. I'm gonna learn a whole new language and start cussing them out. That's what's gonna happen. I have to do that.
Fair enough. And okay, going back to Ghanaian culture, so is there anything that you don't like about their culture that you think so far?
Not really. I think
the whole eating egg too much, all that stuff.
eating egg.
Yeah.
Listen, sometimes I just come in the house and I see a bowl and I see egg in it, and I'm just like, oh, okay, someone's eating. No, I'm joking. I think at the end of the day, it's like a lot of there's similarity. In African culture, there's a lot of similarities, and I think a lot of African cultures are very strict in their ways, but having parents or having grandparents that understand their culture but are not just, this is my culture or nothing, it's easier for you to maneuver and say, well, yeah, I don't agree with this actually, and because I am the father, what I say ultimately goes,
of course,
as opposed to the grandparents. So if I say I don't agree with that, it's like, cool, me and my partner are now going to sit down and discuss reasonings, because me growing up, there's a lot of traditions that are very, very outdated for me personally, and that goes with Nigerian culture as well.
Can you give some examples? An example?
Just, I guess for me, especially when the child's born, there's certain, there's certain traditions that you would do for the child and have certain blessings and stuff like that, and they happen in certain ways where, because I guess I'm more close to my Jamaican side, I might not understand the reasoning for it, and then when they tell me the reason, I'm like, okay, cool, but I don't agree with that.
Mm.
And so I'll just be like, all right, cool. I don't agree with that, and because that's my child, we're not going to do that. And ultimately, your final say goes in it, and because the final say of your of the parents goes, they kind of have to deal with that either way.
Yeah.
These are not these are not easy situations to deal with, and they take a lot of tact and they take a lot of like being respectful of other people's cultures. But ultimately, at the end of the day, traditions are very much like how like a lot of people have been grown up to just do traditional stuff and not know the real reasoning behind it. They just do it because it's like, you know, my mum told me to do it or my dad told me to do it. And I think just being progressive sometimes, there's some traditions that, you know, cool, your mum told you to do it, but right now I'm not looking to do that for Isaiah. And yeah, these are conversations that you just have to go through and compromise and just figure out stuff. And even if I'm like, I don't get it, but it means something a lot more to my partner, it's like, cool, it's not that deep for me, so let's just go for it, because it's not going to hurt me, and it means something more to you than it does to me. So for the better of peace and for just better understanding, for respect, you just have to say, all right, cool, you do that, and I'll sit back. And I hope that answers your question.
Somewhat, yeah. And is there anything that you've picked up since you've been together and you've had a child? Anything you've picked up that you actually do like about their culture? That you want to make sure that, even though your partner might be fussed about it, but you want to make sure that it's imparted into your child.
I think I wouldn't say anything specifically, but I just guess the whole idea of just like the way they look up, the way they treat children, and the way it's like just raising your children in a village and just having that close knit family around you, which I don't think is really culture within Ghanaian culture, but it's culture within a lot of cultures. Just how they look after the child, and when the child's first born, the grandma will just do everything for the mother to make sure that, you know, the mother can have some time to relax and stuff like that, which is good because it gives me some time to actually relax as well. So there's small stuff like that, definitely is a good thing. And I think just the whole being there for the child and just being like the second parents for the child is just more of a better thing for me, if that makes sense.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then finally, so 3 things that you're proudest of as a dad.
I'd say my child knows me. Like when I come from work and he sees me, he's happy.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things I'm always gonna be proud of. It's like I see him, I say Isaiah, he sees me and he smiles, he gets excited, he gets giddy, and it's like, well, you know who I am, like I'm with that, like you know, like that's, I think the first time that happened, I didn't know how to deal with it, but it's me being there for him. He's been able to have that bond, and I can only just hope it just stays like that. Being able to mentally get myself prepared. When I first knew I was having a child, my head was hot for a very long time. And it wasn't because I didn't want a child, it was because how am I going to now get myself in a position where I can be the best dad I can be. That goes financially, that goes mentally, and that that's just making sure that those things are very, very good. So I'd say, based on how much I've been told I'm doing a good job, I can say that I'm proud. Not saying there's still stuff that I need to do that's better, but I can say that I'm proud because I've weathered the storm, and the storm's still coming, but I'm weathering it, and it definitely broke me down. It's broken me down a lot of times, but I'm still here, thank God. So that's one thing. And 3, I would say being able to stock up on nappies. I would say like little stuff like that, and just like having conversations with my friends and stuff like that, knowing, listen, I'm not doing the best, or I'm not in the best space, like mentally, and being able to be open with my friends. Like, I think I'm proud of myself for doing that, because I'm very much keep myself to myself. But knowing that I can have those conversations with people and not feel like, oh, you're going to judge me and not care, I think I'm proud of myself for that, because it's helped me like keep sane to somewhat of an extent, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll say those are my three.
And advice for expectant fathers?
Stock up on nappies, and stock up. Listen, stock up on all of the nappies. Stock up, like, and don't be afraid to get hand-me-downs.
Okay.
Don't be afraid. Listen, babies are expensive, yeah, and sometimes a lot of those hand-me-downs a child has worn like once because they grow out of it. Like, make sure you have an abundance of stuff that like people have been given to you or stuff like that, because listen, you can't do this by yourself. And you trying to do this by yourself sometimes, it's only gonna put you in a worse situation than anything. It's only gonna put your son in or your daughter in a worse situation than anything, because they're not gonna have as much as you, because mentally your head won't be there. So and yeah, the third one is talk to someone. Don't be afraid to talk to people. Like, listen, even the bad thoughts that you might have, yeah, I'm telling you, some dads are going through the same kind of thoughts. You're not any less of a man, you're not any less of a person, and you're not inhumane for sometimes how you're thinking based on the kind of stress that you're dealing with. Talk to people. Like, that's why we've got this platform, because personally, what I've realised is that a lot of like people like myself have been struggling by themselves, and then it's only when you get to having a certain conversation and there's a certain word that's brought up and it's like, oh right, you feel the same way too, damn, and it's like that's stress off my shoulders, because now I don't feel like I'm an evil person or a bad guy or I'm doing everything wrong, because listen, we're all just winging it, and we're all winging it until we figure it out. And you're not, and that's the same with our parents. You'll be able to figure it out. As long as your intention is good, you're always going to get the right results. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Cheeky.
Yeah.
Now, promote your stuff. What do you do? So you mentioned graphic design, creative stuff,
so
socials, all of that stuff.
Yeah, so my socials is Cool Kid Cheeks. I'm not a kid anymore, but I've had Twitter for a very long time. I'm not changing it. So it is what it is, isn't it? Right now, I'm working in a production company. I work with a comedian named Mo Gilligan, and his tour's coming up, and I'm gonna promote that, because I'm helping on tour. Do it. Tickets. It's a world tour, and there's still tickets for London. If you wanna go Europe, man, can just do a little Europe trip and then catch your local jokes there as well. So yeah, man, do that. And like I said, my social is Cool Kid Cheeks. If you need any graphic design, if you need any video editing or anything, just message me on there, and then we can speak. So, yeah,
cool, perfect, thank you. How long was that?